Welcome to the No Code Ninja video series. This is a series in which I'll be teaching you guys how to create no code automations, applications, all of that fun stuff. It's a wild, wild world that we live in, and let's get started. So, I'm going to be building a welcome note to welcome my new students joining the platform. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to collect details with an online form and then send those details to Chatgpt to analyze the information and help me transform the data. And then I will be generating a welcome note in Google Docs. So let's get started. All right, so let's log into Make and create a new scenario. If you haven't used Make already, it's maybe one of the best automation tools out there. There's also Zapier as well, but I like to use Make. So let's add a webhook. Now we want to trigger this webhook to receive data. So let's click that. We can add a name. Just call it whatever you like. Save. And OK. So here we've got a webhook. Hook is going to trigger when our form sends information. So let's go to the next step. Okay, we're going to build our database, and I like to use Baserow, which is a database tool, an alternative to Airtable, which is quite popular. The reason why I really like this is if we just go to the pricing, you have this option to have it hosted on Baserow, or you can have the option to have it self-hosted in your own cloud. And this is useful if your clients have strict requirements around where data should be housed and stored. So I like to stick with Baserow. Let's just log in and let's create a workspace. I'm going to call this Ninja No Code. And we're just going to create a new database. Yeah. Okay, so let's add some information that we'll be collecting, such as first name. We're going to collect email address. So we've got a basic database here. What we can do is we can create a form and call this the code jar. Cool. So this is a really basic form editor. It's built in Baserow, and I do believe that they're building something a little bit more advanced, but for our use case, this is really simple. We're going to get the first name and email, and we can title this form Code Ninja Welcome. I can spell welcome. So you can see we've got first name and email, and we can hit submit, and we've got a form. So if we preview this, we've got a first name and email. So let's go back to this grid. What we want to do is add our webhook. So let's create that webhook. We name this Ninja. We name it anything you like, really. What we're going to do is we're going to post. Let's get that link. Copy address link from our webhook. Let's go OK. And then paste it in there. Just make sure that we trigger this webhook for an individual event. And the event that we want to trigger for is rows are created. So what will happen is when the form is completed, it will add new rows to the database, and that's when we want to trigger this event. Once we're done, just hit save. And there we have it. Webhook successfully updated. Okay, so this is great. We can actually test this out. So let's do that. Let's go to the form. Let's preview the form. And we can say, we've got Jeff at Gmail. My name is Jeff. Submit. Okay, we've submitted that. Now, what we can do is we can run this automation and we can see that data come into the webhook. So let's run this. So that just took a while to work, but we can see that we've got Jeff and we've got the email. So this is great. It's always good to test what you build as you're building it. It saves a lot of headache later. So our webhook is working. It means that we've got a basic form that will collect information and it's being saved in our database. So this is great. Let's move on to the next step. Okay, so let's work on our welcome note. I've logged into my Google Drive and I've created a little document here that's going to act as my template. Inside this template, you'll see curly brackets here. You'll also see it here, here. Basically, these are placeholders in the document where we're going to update this information. So we're going to use this as a template, and then every time our automation runs, it will look at our database and it will populate the name. It will understand some of the goals that our students have, some of the challenges that they have. We're also then going to ask Chatgpt for some advice and populate that information in the template. So let's add these additional bits of information into the database because we actually didn't do that in the first step. So let's go back to our grid. We're going to add some long text, and this is going to be our challenge. I'm going to add some more long text. It's going to be our goal, and one more. Sweet. So we've added these additional elements to the database. We can go back to our form and just make sure that we add those challenges, goals. Actually, we don't want to add the ChatGPT advice. So let's remove that. Sweet. So we can preview the form. Looks like this. We can add some more description information as well. Let's go ahead and add some of that kind of stuff. So I just updated additional descriptions for those data fields. All right, so our form is looking pretty good. What we can do is go back to make and go back to our webhook, and let's just turn this on. And just delete this old data that I had. Okay, so let's just turn this on. The webhook is on. Let's test this form. So let's preview it. We're going to add Jason at gmail.com. I'm going to add some challenges for Jason. Okay, I find it hard to focus. And in terms of goals, let's add a goal. I want to learn how to automate reports at my workplace. And let's hit submit. So we've submitted that form. So we should see that in our database, you can see Jason, you can see the challenges he's got, you can see some goals. So if we look at our webhook, what we can do is see that data and that information that came through this webhook. So what we can do is click this arrow, look at the history. We can see that a webhook operation was completed. Let's look at the information that came through and see in the output, we've got Jason, we've got his challenges, we've got his goals. So that's great. Our form is working. Okay, so let's start with integrating Chatgpt with our automation. So we're going to log into OpenAI, and this is what the dashboard looks like. We're just going to head over to API keys. Let's just create a new secret key for this. I'm going to call this no code ninja. Let's just create that secret key. Copy that. Hit done. Let's just save that somewhere in a notepad. And I'm going to go back to good old make. I'm going to add ChatGPT. We're going to use the module which is called completion. So we just move it there. Now I've already set up a connection here, but let's just add a new one. So we're going to add our API key, and this is really useful. Make actually gives you some links where you can find this information. So I'm going to go back to my OpenAI and just copy that information that I need, which is my organization ID. Let's go here, enter it there. I'm just going to call this connection code ninja. Let's say, and now that has added our API key. Okay, so we're going to create a chat completion. So we're going to add a message for the role. Just leave it as assistant. For message content, this is where we're going to update our ChatGPT prompt. So I have a prompt that I wrote out. And let's just paste it. You are a no-code teacher. Here you have some challenges and goals from a student who is interested in learning no-code development. Please review this information and provide a hard truth the student should be made aware about if they want to get into no-code development. Right? Now, this is a good prompt. One thing I like to add is please be short and concise in your response. Okay, so we can move on to making sure information is going to pass into this ChatGPT prompt. One thing I just did was I just did another test with the form, and I just put some dummy data in there just so I could test that the webhook was working. And you can see here that when I go into the message content, I have available the webhook application, and I can see challenges and goals. So I'm going to place that in this prompt, challenges and goals, and hit OK. So what's happening is we are prompting ChatGPT to give us a hard truth about no-code development, and we're providing some of the challenges and goals that the students have provided to us in that form. So let's just hit OK. Okay, so we want to make sure that the response we get back from ChatGPT is saved in our database. So we're going to go ahead and add the Baserow component into our automation. So what we want to do is we want to update an existing row. So let's just add that there. And now we actually have to set up this connection as well. So let's go back to our Baserow. You can see it gives us some instructions here. Find settings and go to the API token. So that's what we're going to go to. We're going to find our settings and then go to database tokens. We want to create a token and we just call it Ninja. Find our workspace, create this token, and there we have it. So let's just get this token, copy that, and then we can go back here, paste the token, save. And now we've updated the connection. So let's go here, and what we'll be getting is the table ID that we're going to be making the updates from. So you can see here, it gives us some instruction. You can find the ID by clicking the three dots next to the table. It's the number between the brackets. So let's go here and find it. So this is the table. Go back to our table, click on the three dots, and we've got our table ID there. We can just paste that table ID in there. Great. And the row ID we want to update this in is the ID that the webhook is going to provide us. So we're going to just update that there. And what we're going to do is move to this last database field where we've got Chatgpt advice. So let's click that. And we want to find our Chatgpt message, the content from the message, and place it there. And hit OK. Let's just hit save on that. All right, let's move on to the last component, which is updating the welcome note. So we want to go to Google Docs and click that. And the module we're going to use is create document from template. So if we click that, connect it to Baserow. Now, you got to make sure that you add the connection. I've already added my Google Drive, but you can simply go through the steps and add yours. So let's find the document ID. So we're in No Code Ninja. We find the document, welcome note. So we can see name, no code goals, challenges, GPT advice. So these were the curly brackets that we included in the template. So what we're going to do is we're going to populate these items to be coming from our webhook. So we want to make sure that we add the right variables. So we've got first name that we created, we've got goals, and we've got challenges. Then for GPT advice, we're going to take the message content and add it there. For the title, so we can label our welcome note and include the name. And we just want to make sure we select the right location or where we want it to be saved. So No Code Ninja, welcome notes, you pick your right folder and then hit OK. And there we have it. A moment of truth. So let's see if our automation works. So we're just going to go to our form. Let's enter a new student. Her name is Sarah. H. Challenges. I get bored easily. That's a challenge. And our goal is to automate my social media. So let's hit submit. Great. So we've submitted that form. We can go back to our make integration and see this come through. So we can see Sarah and her challenges and goals. We can see what ChatGPT has generated for Sarah. So if we go to choices, message, we've got a hard truth. Great. It's been added to our database and looks like a document's been created. So let's go to our Google Drive. Let's just refresh this. And we've got a welcome note for Sarah. All right. So hi, Sarah. We're excited to have you join. Great. So it looks like goals. We understand that you're looking to automate my social media. We understand challenges with your learning journey. I get bored easily. Here's the truth. And we've got the hard truth from ChatGPT. So you can see that obviously the context is not perfect, but we are taking information that we collected from the form and populating our template. Now, as you learn how to do more advanced automations, you can use ChatGPT to format the information that Sarah inputs and give the automation a little bit more context for where you're going to put the data before you place it there. So this is a quick guide on how to automate templates. It is maybe one of the most important skills that you could learn when it comes to automation. And there are a lot of core concepts we went through in this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.